You are not exhausted because life is hard. You are exhausted because you are trying to control what was never yours to control. You try to manage every outcome, predict every reaction, secure every relationship, and guarantee every result. On the surface, it looks responsible. It looks ambitious. But underneath, it is tension. It is the quiet belief that if you don't hold everything together, it will fall apart, and that constant pressure is draining you far more than life itself ever could. There is a silent addiction most people never question, the addiction to outcomes, the need for things to go a certain way, the need for people to behave as expected, the need for plans to unfold on your timeline. The more you try to secure life, the more unstable it begins to feel, because control creates anxiety. It tells your mind that everything depends on you. And when reality refuses to obey, you feel fear, frustration, and exhaustion. The harder you grip, the more fragile everything seems. And slowly, you begin to confuse control with strength. In this video, you will learn why the need to control is the hidden source of your inner chaos, how attachment to outcomes quietly creates suffering, and how to release control without becoming passive or weak. You will understand the difference between healthy effort and emotional force. You will learn how to pursue your goals with clarity instead of desperation, how to love without clinging, and how to act without fear of losing. By the end, you won't be told to stop caring. You will discover how to care deeply, without being controlled by what happens next. Lesson 1. Control is a fear response, not strength. Control feels powerful. It feels responsible. It feels like maturity. But most of the time, control is not strength. It is fear wearing a mask. The mind seeks control when it feels unsafe. It tries to predict outcomes, manage reactions, and secure results, because uncertainty feels threatening. The unknown makes the ego uncomfortable. So instead of sitting with uncertainty, the mind begins to grip. It overplans, it overthinks, it overworks, not because it is confident, but because it is afraid of losing stability. What you call discipline is often just anxiety trying to protect itself. Look closely at modern life. How many times do you check your phone after posting something, waiting for validation? How often do you refresh your email, hoping for good news? How many times do you replay conversations in your head, trying to control how you were perceived? This is not ambition. It is insecurity searching for reassurance. Chasing success can look noble, but underneath, it can hide a deeper fear of not being enough. The constant need to secure outcomes reveals a silent dependence on external confirmation. And the more you depend on it, the more fragile your peace becomes. Buddhist wisdom teaches that craving is the root of suffering. In simple terms, the more tightly you cling to an outcome, the more emotional pain you create. Craving is not just wanting something, it is believing you cannot be at peace without it. When control becomes your coping mechanism, life turns into a battlefield. Every delay feels like rejection, every setback feels personal. But when you see that control is simply fear trying to survive, something shifts. You stop worshipping control as strength and begin recognizing it as attachment. And awareness is the first step toward freedom. Once you see your addiction to control clearly, it begins to lose its power over you. Lesson 2. Attachment is identity fusion. Attachment is not just wanting something, it is merging your identity with it. We do not simply want success. We become our success. We do not just desire recognition. We begin to define ourselves by it. And when that happens, the stakes become dangerously high. Because now, if the outcome fails, it does not feel like a situation failed. It feels like you failed. This is where anxiety multiplies. Not because the goal matters, but because your sense of self is tied to whether it happens or not. Look at how this plays out in modern life. Someone works for years building a career. They sacrifice time, energy, relationships. Slowly, their profession becomes their identity. So when a promotion does not come, or a project collapses, or they lose their job, the pain cuts deeper than disappointment. It feels like personal rejection. Their mind does not say the plan failed. It says, I am not enough. This is identity fusion. The outcome and the self become inseparable. And once your identity depends on results, you can never relax. Every email becomes a threat. Every delay feels like judgment. Every comparison becomes a wound. Buddhist wisdom teaches that attachment creates suffering, but this is why. It is not the object itself that hurts you, it is the story you attach to it. When you believe your worth depends on achievement, your nervous system lives in constant tension. You are always defending your identity, always trying to prove something, always afraid of losing what confirms who you think you are. Freedom begins when you separate who you are from what you achieve. You can pursue excellence without becoming enslaved by it. You can care deeply about your work without letting it define your value. When outcome no longer equals identity, setbacks lose their power to shake you at your core. You remain steady even when circumstances change. This is not detachment from effort. It is detachment from self-condemnation. And when you make that shift, anxiety begins to dissolve because your identity is no longer fragile. It becomes grounded in something deeper than success or failure. Lesson 3. Over-efforting creates inner conflict. There is a quiet tension that builds inside you when desire and fear exist at the same time. You want success, but you are afraid of failure. You want love, but you are afraid of rejection. You want growth, but you are afraid of not being good enough. When these two forces pull in opposite directions, your nervous system never rests. It stays alert, activated, scanning for danger. On the outside, it looks like ambition. On the inside, it feels like pressure. This is over-efforting. It is not just working hard, it is trying to force life to respond on your timeline. When your nervous system is constantly activated, clarity disappears. You begin overthinking simple decisions. You second-guess your instincts. You replay conversations. You analyze outcomes before they even happen. The harder you try to make something happen, the more clouded your judgment becomes. Intuition requires calm, insight requires space, but tension shrinks perception. When you are desperate for results, you stop listening to wisdom and start reacting from fear. You mistake urgency for importance. You confuse pressure with progress. The truth is, effort itself is not the problem. Effort is healthy, discipline is powerful, showing up consistently is necessary. But emotional force is destructive. Emotional force is when your self-worth becomes tied to the outcome. It is when you believe everything depends on this one result. That is when effort turns into strain. You are no longer acting from clarity, you are acting from panic. Healthy ambition is different. It moves with focus, but without fear. It works diligently, but does not collapse when things shift. It prepares fully, yet remains adaptable. It understands that you can give your best without trying to control every variable. When you redefine ambition this way, your energy changes. You stop chasing outcomes with tension and start moving toward goals with grounded confidence. And when fear no longer drives your effort, your mind becomes sharper, calmer, and far more powerful than force could ever make it. Lesson 4. The nervous system cannot receive under pressure. You cannot receive clearly when your body believes it is under threat. This is not just philosophy, it is biology. When you are stressed, your brain shifts into survival mode. The nervous system activates, cortisol rises, and your perception narrows. Instead of seeing possibilities, you start scanning for danger. Instead of noticing opportunity, you become hyper-focused on what might go wrong. This response was designed to protect you from physical threats, but in modern life, it gets triggered by emails, deadlines, silence from someone you care about, or uncertainty about the future. When your brain is in this defensive state, it prioritizes survival over creativity. It reduces flexibility. It limits perspective. That is why, under pressure, you make impulsive decisions or freeze completely. You say things you regret. You overlook simple solutions. You miss opportunities that were quietly present. It is not because you are incapable. It is because your nervous system is trying to protect you. But protection under perceived threat often blocks growth. Think about how many times you were so anxious about securing a result that you became blind to other options, so focused on avoiding failure that you could not recognize a new path opening. Stress narrows perception. Calm expands it. When you are grounded, your brain functions differently. You access higher reasoning. You think strategically. You listen more carefully. You respond instead of react. In a calm state, you see what others miss. This is where Buddhist wisdom and neuroscience meet. Non-attachment is not just spiritual advice. It regulates the nervous system. When you release the need to control every outcome, your body relaxes, your breath slows, your awareness widens. And with that wider awareness, you perceive more clearly. You notice patterns. You sense timing. You recognize alignment. Calm is not passivity. It is heightened intelligence. Many people believe pressure creates performance. In small doses, it can, but constant pressure blocks insight. When you operate from calm, you move with precision instead of panic. You respond with clarity instead of fear. Calm becomes your strategic advantage. It allows you to receive feedback without collapse. It allows you to adapt without defensiveness. It allows you to see opportunity where others only see threat. If you want better decisions, stronger relationships, and clearer direction, the solution is not more force, it is more regulation. The more stable your inner state becomes, the more accurately you interpret the world. And when your nervous system feels safe, life begins to open in ways that pressure could never unlock. Lesson 5. Detachment is emotional maturity. Detachment is one of the most misunderstood teachings in Buddhist philosophy. Many people hear the word and immediately think of coldness, distance, or emotional withdrawal. They imagine someone who does not care, who avoids intimacy, who protects themselves by feeling less. But true detachment is not indifference. It is emotional maturity. It is the ability to love deeply without losing yourself in the process. Emotional immaturity clings. It says, I need you to stay so I can feel secure. I need this relationship to survive so I can feel worthy. I need this person to act a certain way so I can remain calm. That is not love. That is dependency disguised as attachment. When your peace depends entirely on someone else's behavior, you are not connected from strength. You are connected from fear. And fear always creates instability. Emotional maturity looks different. It says, I care about you deeply, but I do not disappear inside you. I value this connection, but I do not collapse if it changes. I choose you, but I do not lose myself trying to keep you. This is detachment in its pure form. It allows closeness without possession. It allows intimacy without control. Imagine someone you love decides to leave. For most people, the first reaction is panic. The mind starts racing. What did I do wrong? How can I fix this? How do I stop them? The body feels tight. The heart feels threatened. But emotional maturity creates space between feeling and reaction. You still feel sadness. You still feel disappointment. But you do not lose your center. You do not beg for validation. You do not destroy your dignity trying to prevent loss. You remain grounded, even in pain. This does not mean you stop loving. It means your love is no longer rooted in possession. It means you can wish someone well, even if they choose a path that does not include you. That kind of strength is not weakness. It is stability. It shows that your identity is not dependent on someone else's presence. Detachment teaches you to anchor yourself internally. It reminds you that your worth does not rise or fall with someone's choice to stay or go. When you operate from emotional stability instead of emotional possession, relationships become healthier. You communicate with clarity instead of desperation. You give freely instead of bargaining for security. True detachment is not about caring less. It is about loving without self-erasure. And when you reach that level of maturity, your peace becomes unshakable. Not because life stops changing, but because you no longer abandon yourself when it does. Lesson 6. Surrender is adaptive intelligence. Surrender is often misunderstood as weakness. It sounds like giving up, backing down, or accepting defeat. But real surrender is not passive. It is intelligent. It is the ability to adapt when reality changes. In Buddhist philosophy, surrender is not about collapsing under pressure. It is about releasing resistance to what is already happening so you can respond wisely instead of react emotionally. That is not weakness. That is flexibility. And flexibility is a form of strength. Think about how many people struggle because they cling to one version of how life should unfold. One career path, one relationship outcome, one definition of success. When circumstances shift, instead of adjusting, they resist, they fight reality. They waste energy trying to force things back into the shape they had imagined. This is not determination, it is rigidity. And rigidity under changing conditions leads to suffering. Now imagine an entrepreneur who launches a business with a specific strategy. They invest time, money, and hope into that idea. But the market responds differently than expected. Sales are low. Feedback reveals flaws. The rigid response would be to double down emotionally, refusing to change direction out of pride or fear. The adaptive response is different. It is surrender in action. The entrepreneur studies the data, listens to feedback, adjusts the model, and pivots the strategy. They are not quitting, they are adapting. That is intelligent surrender. Life functions the same way. Sometimes a door closes, not because you failed, but because that path no longer fits your growth. When you cling to it, you create friction. When you adapt, you create movement. Surrender allows you to conserve energy instead of wasting it on resistance. It frees your mind to evaluate clearly. It transforms obstacles into information. From a psychological perspective, adaptability is a sign of emotional regulation. When you can accept change without collapsing, your nervous system remains stable. You think more strategically. You see options instead of only loss. The rigid mind sees change as threat. The adaptive mind sees change as adjustment. And that difference determines whether you grow or remain stuck. Surrender does not mean you stop caring about your goals. It means you stop insisting that they unfold in only one specific way. It means you detach from the method while staying committed to the intention. You remain open to redirection. You allow new solutions to emerge. This is intelligent adaptation. When you redefine surrender this way, it becomes empowering. It becomes the ability to shift without breaking, to adjust without losing identity, to move with life instead of against it. The most resilient people are not the ones who resist change the hardest. They are the ones who adapt the fastest. Surrender, then, is not giving up control out of helplessness. It is releasing illusion in order to respond with clarity. It is choosing growth over ego. And when you operate from adaptive intelligence instead of rigid attachment, life stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a dynamic process you are capable of navigating with strength and wisdom. Lesson 7. Flow comes from alignment, not inaction. One of the biggest misunderstandings about letting go is the belief that it means doing nothing. Many people hear teachings about surrender, detachment, or flow and assume it encourages passivity. They imagine someone sitting back, waiting for life to fix itself. That is not what we are learning here. We are not teaching inaction. We are teaching alignment. There is a powerful difference. Flow does not come from laziness. It comes from acting fully while releasing your emotional dependence on the result. You prepare deeply. You show up consistently. You develop your skills. You make decisions with clarity. But you detach emotionally from how the outcome must unfold. That is the balance. Act with discipline. Release with trust. When people cling to outcomes, their effort becomes heavy. Every action carries pressure. Every step feels like it must succeed. This tension blocks flow. But when you are aligned internally, your actions feel clean, focused, intentional. You are not distracted by fear of failure or obsession with approval. You are present in the work itself. Think about a professional athlete before a major competition. They train for years. They practice relentlessly. They prepare their body and mind. But when the moment comes, if they become consumed by the need to win, their performance tightens. Their movements lose fluidity. Their instincts become forced. The same skill that once felt natural becomes strained. But when they focus only on execution and release attachment to the scoreboard, performance improves. Flow returns. This is detached effort. It is not a lack of ambition. It is refined ambition. You care deeply about excellence, but you are not psychologically destroyed by the result. You understand that outcomes are influenced by variables beyond your control. Your responsibility is preparation and action, not domination of every consequence. In modern life, this might look like preparing thoroughly for a job interview while accepting that the final decision is not entirely yours. It might mean building a business with commitment while remaining open to changing strategies. It might mean loving someone wholeheartedly while accepting that you cannot control their choices. In each case, you act fully, but you release emotional possession of the outcome. This shift prevents laziness because you are still taking responsibility. It prevents burnout because you are no longer carrying unrealistic pressure. Detached effort is powerful because it combines clarity with resilience. You do your best without collapsing if circumstances shift. When alignment replaces desperation, work becomes purposeful instead of frantic. Relationships become authentic instead of controlling. Growth becomes steady instead of exhausting. Flow emerges naturally when your inner state and outer action move in harmony. Detached effort is not weakness. It is power without panic. It is discipline without desperation. And when you master this balance, you discover that the most effective way to move forward is not by gripping tighter, but by acting fully and letting the rest unfold. One day, something will not go according to your plan. A door will close. A message will not come. An opportunity will slip through your hands. The old version of you would have panicked. It would have overanalyzed every detail, blamed itself, tried to force a different outcome. But that is not who you are becoming. It will not meet the same version of you. It will meet someone who works without desperation, someone who gives full effort without tying their worth to the result. It will meet someone who loves without possession, who can open their heart without trying to control another person's choices. It will meet someone who tries without panic, who understands that action is their responsibility, but outcomes are not fully theirs to command. It will meet someone who waits without fear, who sees delay not as rejection, but as redirection. The storm will still come. Life will still change. But you will not collapse with it. Because you are no longer living from tension. You are no longer gripping every detail. You are no longer running after validation, certainty, or control. And when you stop running, something powerful happens. Life no longer needs to be chased. Opportunities no longer feel like prey. Peace no longer feels temporary. You will stand grounded while circumstances move around you. You will act with clarity instead of urgency. You will adapt without losing yourself. That is the transformation. Not becoming passive, not becoming detached from life, but becoming internally steady within it. And if something in this perspective shifted the way you see your own struggles, stay with us. These teachings are not about escaping life. They are about mastering your inner world so that no external situation can control it. If you are ready to grow into that version of yourself, continue this journey with us.